Welcome.
Welcome to SPK.
Welcome to SPK. How was your sleep, Hamish?
Oh, it was alright. I was a bit disrupted, I gotta say.
Really?
Yeah, had some weird dreams.
What'd you dream about?
I dreamt about cows.
Ha!
Isn't that weird? Do you dream about cows a lot?
I don't think I've ever dreamt about cows.
Oh, just me then.
Do you often dream about cows?
No, not often.
Yeah, right. Well, tell us about your dream. What happened?
Oh, it was really, not only were there cows, but there was fat cows and skinny cows.
Fat cows and skinny cows.
Yeah.
You have weird dreams, mate.
It's not even that. Like, the skinny cows,
Yeah.
they ate the fat cows.
What?
I got cows eating cows in my dream.
Cows eating cows.
It's real weird.
I wonder what it means.
I've no idea.
No idea. It does remind me of a story, though.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, when I wake up, I can... Oh, no, that's right. Isn't that in the Bible somewhere?
Oh, yeah. We've been learning about Joseph.
Ah.
And he's a bunch of friends who have dreams.
He had a lot of weird friends who had weird dreams.
Yeah. Bizarre, hey?
And he could kind of interpret them. Well, or God interpreted them and told Joseph. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
That's right, because last week he was in prison with the cupbearer and the baker, and they had dreams.
They did, yeah. And it went well for the cupbearer,
That's right.
but the baker, not so well.
Not so well.
Yeah.
But Joseph he was still in prison last week, wasn't he?
Yeah, no good. I wonder what's going to happen to him this week.
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out in SPK.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
Good morning, kids. It's great to see you. I hope you had a good sleep.
Yep.
Hope you didn't have too many funky dreams
No.
about cows.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
I'm worried about you.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Anyway, hey, what's happening in SPK this week?
Well, we're going to be at home with some people today. At home with Elijah and Annabelle. That's going to be fun.
Ooh, look forward to meeting those guys.
Yeah.
We've got a physical challenge.
We do. That should be fun with Carlingford.
Carlingford Fireworks looking
Yeah.
after that. Get excited.
And we've got a memory verse, right, Mike?
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped about this week's memory verse.
Oh, good.
It's
I'm
a
excited
goodie.
for it.
It is a goodie. And that must mean the Chinese church are doing the story?
They are, yeah.
Okay, nice.
I'm excited. I wonder what's going to happen to Joseph.
I wonder. We'll have to find out.
Yeah.
So here we go with
SPK! Woo!
Hi everyone, I'm Annabelle.
I'm Elijah.
I'm Rachel,
We also have two adorable twins, Miriam and Piper.
but we call them Mim and Pip.
In our family, there are a lot of things we like to do.
And one of those things is sport.
I like to play netball.
I like to play soccer.
I like to play soccer like my big brother.
We also love to go on bushwalks at the end of our street with our family. We also have a little fish Nemo who is a clownfish. We take turns in feeding him and he loves it. There are also things we like to do as well individually. Like I like to play the flute and dance.
I like to play Minecraft and do a backflip on the trampoline.
I like to ride my bike on the street.
When it comes to learning about God, we each have our own special Bible that Dad reads to us at bedtime. We also pray before we eat at dinner time. One of the Bibles I like to read is called Hanging in There by John Dixon. I like to read it not only because it teaches me about God and Jesus, but it tells me how to grow up as a Christian and how to live God's way. The other Bible I like to read is full of crazy stories from the Bible, and it's by Andy Robb.
This is my Bible. I read it with my dad or by myself. My favorite page is at the back of the book, the last chapter, where 4 men ride 4 horses in the skies with Jesus and defeat a giant serpent from the water, and they have loads of help from the angels.
This is my Bible. I like to read it because it has pictures and questions.
Thank you so much for this food. Thank you so much for this time together. We pray for an end to lockdown. We thank you most of all for Jesus. Amen.
ISPK!
this week I'm going to do my physical challenge.
Hi St Paul's kids, my name is Bianca and I'm one of the leaders at Fireworks at Carlingford. Today's physical challenge is that you have to tie your shoes with your thumbs tied up like this. So let's see if I can do it. So you start with the knot. Ooh. There we go. One loop, two, cool. And then, oh no. And then the final loop. Beautiful. No thumbs.
Therefore, everyone who listens to these words of mine and puts them into practice is like the wise man who built his house on the rock. Matthew chapter 7 verse 24.
Therefore, anyone who listens to my words and puts them into practice is like a wise builder who builds their house on solid rock. Matthew 7:24.
Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise builder who built a house on a solid rock. Matthew 7:24.
Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise builder who built his house on a solid rock, says Jesus in Matthew 7:24. Matthew 7:24. 7:24.
But everyone who listens to these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like the foolish man who built his house on the sand. Matthew 7:26. There were two verses in this memory verse.
G'day, St Paul's kids. It's Iron Mike. Iron Man with you today, doing our snapshot verse from Expedition 31. And our snapshot verse is from John chapter 2, verse 16, that says, He told those who were selling doves, Get these things out of here. Stop turning my Father's house into a market. That was Jesus speaking, and he wasn't happy because people were in the temple, his Father's house, ripping other people off by selling them things at way too expensive price, making it hard for them to worship God. And so Jesus said, Get these things out of here, and fair enough too. So we're going to learn this snapshot verse too. You probably guessed it. The Avengers. Because it's good to keep your mask on at this time during COVID lockdown. You can never be too safe, St Paul's kids. Here we go. He told those who were selling doves, Get these things out of here. Stop turning my Father's house into a market. He told those who were selling doves, Get these things out of here. Stop turning my Father's house into a market. John 2, verse 16. John 2. Oh, was pretty high, wasn't it, St. Paul's Kids? I think that'll do for that one. Can you remember that verse, St. Paul's Kids? John chapter 2, verse 16? If you can, send me a video and I will send you a prize, and you might even be able to score points for your team on SPK. So, send me a video. I'll be looking out for it from beneath my mask. Have a good week, St. Paul's Kids. Bye!
Hey kids, welcome to another week of Kids Church. I hope that you are before your iPad or your monitor or your TV sitting comfortably, and I hope that everyone is having a good week. And let's begin this week. Joseph helps Pharaoh, Genesis 41, 14 to 57. So we went through Genesis chapter 40, verses 1 to 23 last week. Does anybody remember what happened? And if the answer is no, that's all right. Let's go over a quick recap. We know that at the start, the chief cupbearer and baker were thrown into jail, and it was here that they met the young Joseph, who was imprisoned because of a wrongful accusation by Potiphar. The cupbearer and baker both had dreams which they were not able to interpret, so Joseph interpreted for them. The cupbearer had a good dream, where he would be restored to his former position, and the baker had a bad dream, where he would be put to death. Joseph told the cupbearer that once the cupbearer has been reinstalled in his former position, to remember Joseph and to help get him out of prison. Now on the third day of their imprisonment, Joseph's interpretation of their dreams came true, and the cupbearer did get reinstalled. However, he did not remember to tell Pharaoh about Joseph, and so once again, even though Joseph was doing what he could to be faithful to God, he was forgotten and left in prison. Just when things were looking good, like with Potiphar, once again, Joseph is left thinking, what is going on with my life? Now this brings us to our next activity, and I know you're going to be thinking, whoa, what is that funky looking thing? So for this activity, I'll be showing you images that are super zoomed in, and you have to guess what the image is showing. So what I suggest is pause this video for 30 seconds when I show you the zoomed in picture. And while you're so pause the video while you're guessing and play the video again once you have gotten the answer. Are you ready? So we got the first image here. Go. Ta-da! It is a delicious looking margarita pizza. Wow, I can't remember when was the last time I went out to get pizza. I hope first one was an easy one. It's going to get harder, so let's get ready for the second photo. Wow, what is this brown looking thing? It's a bit fuzzy as well. So once again, kids, to pause this video for 30 seconds and come back when you have your answers. And what we have here, we've got an elephant. Now, who guessed elephant? I know I didn't get that the first time. I thought it was some leather handbag or the nose of a dog or some brown lab. I did not think it was an elephant. Now, let's go into the third photo. This one is the hardest by far. Are you ready? Wow, what is this? It's white and it's got some patterns on it. I wonder what it is. Now, once again, give yourself 30 seconds to guess and come back when you've gotten the answer. So what do we have here? We've got the Opera House. Wow, that one was really tricky. All we saw was just white and blurry and some patterns. So I'll be very, very, very impressed if you got that one. Now, well, I had really hoped that you had fun guessing the images here, and man, that pizza really looked good, didn't it? And, they were really hard, but I guess the purpose of this challenge was for us to think about the life of Joseph and to think about think about God and how he writes everyone's life stories. For Joseph, from joy as a child and receiving a rainbow coat from his father to being thrown into a well and sold off to merchants by his brothers, from being bought by Potiphar and working really hard and making something out of himself, and just when things were looking well for him, to be thrown into prison because of false accusation. And then this time around, he was helping out this cupbearer and really probably had a lot of hope in escaping his current circumstances by gaining favor with his cupbearer. But instead he was forgotten and once again left behind. Now the story hasn't even ended yet, and yet young Joseph really has had a lifetime of excitement. But the next thing we want to see that God is always doing something and always has a plan for everything, no matter how big and how small, and that nothing and no one can get in his way and stop him from accomplishing his will. Now, what we got here this week is a video. So kids, please pause this video, click open the link that is below, and watch this clip talking about what happened with Joseph and Pharaoh. And after you finish watching that, come back and we'll continue. See you soon. So let's go over what God has said through Joseph to Pharaoh about his dreams. How did Joseph interpret them as? There were going to be 7 good years of abundance, as symbolized by the plump cows and the ears of corn. And after that, there will be 7 years of extreme famine that will be so bad that will make people forget about the 7 good years. This was symbolized by the thin cows eating the plump cows, and the thin ears of corn eating the good corn. And the reason that God made his point twice by using cows and also corn was because God was saying that this has been decided and it will happen soon. Therefore, Joseph suggested to the Pharaoh to save their resources in the good years to prepare for the famine. Now, I know that if it hadn't been for God, that I would not have gotten it. There was no way that I could have had the confidence to go up to Pharaoh and said, yes, I can interpret your dream and interpret it accurately. So now we've got a quick challenge for you, true or false. Pharaoh saw Joseph's interpretation of his dream as from God through Joseph and not from Joseph himself. Now, if you kids, if you were paying attention to the video, you should know this one. So I'm just going to give you 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Drum roll, please. And the answer is true. True. The Pharaoh does know that it is God who is truly speaking. And we can see this from what Pharaoh says in verse 39 and 40. It is said, "Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, 'Since God has made all this known to you, there is no one so discerning and wise as you. You shall be in charge of my palace, and all my people are to submit to your orders. Only with respect to the throne will I be greater than you.'" Now, we can really see that it is true that Pharaoh knows that it is from God and that Joseph is God's man, because we can also see the name that Joseph, that Pharaoh gave to Joseph, Zephaniah Paneah, which means, in our current English, which means God speaks and he lives. Now, why is that important? So at the start of this week's chapter, Joseph is still in jail. He's been mistreated and abandoned by his family, made into a slave, and then wrongly jailed for a crime that he didn't do. And at that moment, stuck in jail, there is no plan or future that he can see. But by the end of the chapter, we see that God is the master planner. In his love and wisdom, God thinks long term and has planned from the very start that the right person, Joseph, is in the right place in Egypt at the right time, in the abundant years before the famine, to save the people living in Egypt. But Joseph couldn't have known that when he was in jail, when he was wrongly accused. And he had to patiently trust God to keep his promises. And God did. Joseph was raised from slave to second in command of all of Egypt. Now, kids, if you don't know, Egypt was a powerful, powerful country in ancient times. And Joseph gave glory to God for the interpretation, so Pharaoh knew God was responsible for the good work. But now, even saving the people in Egypt was only one small part of God's greater overall plan. We'll discover more of God's master planning, his perfect timing, and all-knowing wisdom in the upcoming weeks. So come back next week to find out what will happen next. I hope everyone has a good week. See you.
Therefore, everyone who listens to these words of mine
and puts them into practice is like a wise builder who
built a house on a solid rock. Matthew 7:24.
Well, it's SPK for another week, but we have something very exciting and new. What's this, Hamish?
This is our SPK scoreboard, which I'm very excited about.
Ooh, how do you get a dash on the scoreboard?
So whenever one of you sends in a memory verse or a challenge, you get an extra dash. So remember last week, Challenge Church were at 4, North Rocks at 2, and Morning Church sitting at 2.
So this is like gold, silver, or bronzy sort of thing.
Tied for silver, yeah.
Okay, but we did have some more videos this week, so we need to update the scoreboard.
Yeah, we do.
This is very exciting. So what happened this week?
So we had 2 more from Morning Church.
Ooh, well done, Morning Church.
1 more from North Rocks.
Ooh, and Chinese Church.
Yeah, they had 2 more. So give them 2 more dashes.
Oh, look at this. Go Chinese Church.
They're still in front.
On fire in gold medal position. And there is a prize at the end. Once we get out of lockdown, there'll be a prize for the best fireworks / Beagles / congregation. Who does the best videos? Who sends them in?
Who just sends in the most videos? It's
There
all
you
about quantity.
go.
Just send them in, guys.
We don't care about quality here. It's all about quantity.
A lot of talent you guys have at home.
Anyway, thanks for tuning in to SPK. We're going to Zoom.
Yeah, we're going on to Zoom for another Kahoot.
Awesome. Have a great week, St. Paul's kids.
Bye.